What's poppin' world? I hope all is well. If you like substance, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and follow. You already know what to do. Let's get into this. So today I want to talk about the importance of leading the youth in the right direction, right? A lot of times we don't want to mess up the vibe. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. So we keep our mouth shut when we see certain things. But it's important that we lead them down the right path. Story, right? Story time, right? This morning, we were getting ready for church, and my son, he was dressed. My daughter, she's dressed, and my son, he had this cap on, looked like a something like a toboggan almost, right? Or a or like a mesh cap, stocking cap, right? And I said, "Hey son, what's that you got on your head?" I said, "Is that a ski mask?" And he had it turned backwards, but he was wearing it again, like a scully or whatever you want to call it. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, we just wear these, whatever, just the style, you know what I'm saying?" I said, "Okay." I said, "Why do young black men wear ski masks? What's the purpose of them wearing ski masks?" And he said, "Well, it's just the style." I said, "No, no, no, no." I said, "Not you in particular." I said, "But in general. If you see a group of young black men wearing ski masks, what comes to mind? What is the real purpose of them wearing that?" And he said, "Well, maybe if they doing bad things." And I said, "What kind of bad things?" He said, "Maybe stealing from somebody, shooting somebody, killing somebody, robbing somebody, things like that." I said, "Okay, cool. Now we're getting somewhere." I said, "Now, do you represent any of that?" And he also said that they're in a gang, right? I said, "Do you represent any of that?" He said, "No." I said, "Do your parents represent any of that? Are we about that?" He was like, "No." I said, "Okay, so do you think you ought to be wearing that ski mask on your head? Because you're not in that lifestyle. You don't need to be following what other people are doing." I said, "Do you think you should be wearing that ski mask on your head?" And he said, "No." I said, "Okay. All right, well, there we go." And I explained to him how there's always a reason behind why people follow certain trends and where they come from and do certain things, just like the whole pants sagging thing. We won't get into all of that. So I broke down and I said, "Look, if you want to wear something on your head, if that's part of your style, I can buy you any toboggan you want. I can buy you hats. I'll buy you a hat, all colors to match all your outfits." I said, "I'd be willing to do that, right?" And anybody who know me know that I've been wearing hats since I was in high school, right? I always part of my style, part of my swag. I'm a match. Let me get the hat to match that outfit. Whether I had hair or no hair, I'm gonna wear the hat, right? If I can. So anyway, I told him, "Look, I'll buy you any hat you want. I'll buy you all the hats you want." And when I told him that, he started smiling, right? And I felt like that was a breakthrough to him. Like, oh, okay, I could be cool, wear something on my head, and it ain't gotta be a ski mask or whatever the case may be. I can still be cool. So moral of the story is, guys, you gotta talk to your kids. You gotta talk to your grandkids. You gotta talk to your little cousins, your nieces, your nephews, people in the neighborhood. If you see them out moving a certain way, right? These kids need guidance. And sometimes you got to step in there and say, "Hey, why are you doing that? Why are you wearing that? Why are you?" Because the truth of the matter is this: a huge part of the black culture has already been given a bad name, right? A lot of people say that black culture is trash. That's what they say. Now, I'm not here to argue one point or the other, but when people speak a certain way about the community, I understand where they're coming from, right? Because the truth is, there are a lot of men and women who dress a certain way and move a certain way, and it is negative. So if you look the same way and dress the same way that those people doing the negative stuff out here doing, guess what? You're going to be judged and looked at as if you are the same type of person. Now, it's a dream world if you think that, oh, well, we shouldn't. Just because we look like them and dress like them, we shouldn't. Well, they say life ain't fair, right? So I'm here to guide mine, right? right? And guide those who follow me in the right direction, right? I want to avoid all types of trouble. I want to avoid all types of bad recognition, right? I want to avoid all of that. So I'm going to teach mine that they need to move a certain way, look a certain way, so on and so forth, act a certain way. Because again, I don't want my kids being labeled or prejudged to be something that they're not, especially if I don't agree with the way they're looking. Be one thing if I thought the way they was looking was cool and okay. It's another thing if I'm looking at them like, nah, that's a little off. Nah, you don't need to look like that. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times, many people of color fight for the wrong things, right? They fight for the wrong look, or we should be able to look this way, and we should be able to look that way. And the problem is, you have a lot of people who do look a certain way, and these are the ones who tend to commit crimes at a high rate. The ones who look and move a certain way. It is what it is. So if you want to look and appear to be one of them, you're gonna get lumped into that group, and I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Swallow your pride and move accordingly, right? Move like you got some sense. Look like you got some sense, right? And when I say like you got some sense, I'm talking about dress appropriately, right? Look appropriate, right? It ain't rocket science, but it's up to you to do what you do. All I'm saying is, as young men and women, we have got to guide the youth. We got to guide them because the path they're going down don't look good. Fighting, stealing, killing, robbing, gang life, flashy life, all about flash, all about money. We got to get them closer to God, right? Whatever that looks like for you, we got to get them closer to God. We have to push them to have better morals and values, or have morals and values, period, right? Many of them don't have none. But it starts from the top to the bottom. It starts from the top to the bottom. But that's all I got for this video. Like the video, share the video. Leave a comment in the comment section. I can be off on this. Remember, subscribe to the channel. I love you all. Be blessed.